Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're discussing the Immortal game of Judit Polgar. She's one of those players that's given us lots of options. She did a video with chess.com where she spoke about her famous victory over Vishy Anand. She's of course defeated Garry Kasparov, but this is the game we're doing where she's playing Alexey Shirov. She's got the black pieces, and she uncorks. Oh boy, what she uncorks is just brilliant. So Shirov has got the white pieces, right? He plays e4, and Judit responds with the Sicilian Defense. Very combative. We get knight f3 and e6. She likes to go for various time on of positions, putting the queen on c7 and so forth. We get d4, takes, knight to c6, knight to c3, all standard stuff, and now d6. This is the, I believe it's the time on of Sicilian. And here, Shirov just uncorks g4. This is not like the standard move that you play. It's a book move. You can play it, but it is super aggressive and super non-standard. Judit plays a6, just not allowing any of the knights to go there. It's a simple move in the Sicilian. You're just allowing 3 pieces from access to that square, although there are sometimes you can sacrifice. Bishop to e3, and now here a nice interesting move. She plays knight ge7. She doesn't go to the conventional f6 square. That's because putting the knight on g6 might be better, because you're targeting the dark squares. You could put on f3, but then you're kind of inviting g5, and you're not really targeting e4 as of yet. So knight g7 is pretty good. Here we get knight to b3, just a very good move. The tension between these two knights is relieved. And now b5. f4, very aggressive. Bishop b7, and now here, Shirov makes a mistake. Here he's slightly better. He's got a decent advantage despite, pushing all of these pawns. But here, instead of playing something quieter, he looks for aggressiveness. He plays queen f3. And this is where Judit kind of, unwraps the things and gets into a straight-up fist fight. Although she's a lady, so perhaps not. A chess fist fight, as you will. She plays g5. The full sacrifice of this pawn. Point is, if you take, f takes g5, as is taken, the idea is knight e5. This is what happens in the game, if you take. If you don't take, for example, after g5, and you perhaps try to push the pawn, because this seemed to be your idea, to get into a confrontation on the side of the board. Well, then there's knight e5, queen e2, which you probably should have played already, b4, kicking the knight out to a4, then you play this important move, bishop c6, and then there's, knight b6, and then bishop takes e4. You win the pawn in the center of the board, and you hit the rook, and the white position falls apart. Also, what you could consider, and perhaps is the best move after g5, is actually long castles. Crazily enough, long castle's the best move, and then now g takes f4. You've got to be careful, because bishop takes f4 is not so good, because what you do is you run into this important move that we discussed earlier, knight to g6, and black would be fine. F takes g5 was played instead, slight inaccuracy. Now we get knight to e5. Queen has got a couple of places to go. It can go to e2, but we've already discussed that's not so great. So we get queen g2. Now Judit makes a slight inaccuracy according to the engine, but practically speaking, it's a perfectly fine move. She plays b4. Asks this knight a question. Where is it going? The knight goes backwards to e2. That's why you didn't want to put the queen there. You knew that this move was coming, and so you want to put your knight on e2. And so we get h5. Asking these pawns another question. If you take, surely I just take back, and it's fine. If you take en passant, I'll probably just take with the bishop. No. You do take en passant. You play g takes h5, sorry, not en passant. And here Judit uncorks 3 brilliant C's in a row. 3. The first one is pretty standard, I suppose. She's down 2 pawns, and so she sacrifices the knight. Knight f5. Now, yes, it's a sacrifice. You're attacking the bishop. That is the first thing. You can't take the knight because this bishop hits your queen. So you're in trouble already. The best move here, according to the engine, is to take the knight. Take the knight and allow all this. Get 2 pieces for the queen, allow rook c8, and it thinks this position is perhaps survivable for white, because what you're also going to get now is something like can't be h4. Yeah, h4 to defend this, and these pawns are very strong, and your king is still not safe. And, you know, Judit's got, 4 pieces on the back rank, so maybe this is survivable, a queen sacrifice idea. Of course, Shirov doesn't go for this. Instead, what he plays is bishop to f2. He gets the bishop out the way. The bishop was attacked. Okay. Queen takes g5. The sacrifice of the queen. Still the knight is hanging. The queen is kind of hanging. The point of the idea is, if you take the queen, I have knight f3 check. And you have, let's say, king d2. I take the queen back. And if you take this, your rook hangs. Your rook hangs. And black is completely winning. So queen takes g5, brilliancy. The white position is in tatters. You still obviously cannot take this. Now you definitely can't take this knight. You can't really take the queen. What do you do? Apparently the engine keeps throwing up this h4 move. It's like, yeah, just play h4. And what they're going to do about it. So, in the game, Shirov plays knight a5. Simple idea. I would like to grab the bishop. Yeah, simple enough. Judit doesn't care about this bishop. Leaves it, has a knight hanging, has a queen hanging, has a bishop hanging. I'll just play knight e3. Your queen is still under attack. Knight f3 is going to be threatened if you take knight f3. The bishop you can fully just take. You can gobble the bishop, but the problem is your queen is hanging. You have to address this. And so when you play, for example, bishop takes, I play queen takes. And if you grab my bishop, then the awesome move knight f3. And you must sacrifice the queen. Judit saw all of this. Knight e3, the third brilliancy, and the game is basically over. We get queen takes queen g3 is played in the game. Queen takes g3, knight takes g3, we take, and we go up the exchange because you grab the bishop. But now simply we play b3 to extricate the knight. Takes, knight takes, the king comes towards the center. I get out to c5, you take like this, and Judit is completely fine. She jumps the knight in, she gives a check, she plays bishop to d6, she plays bishop to e5, king to c7, king e7, beautiful move, and after rook to a1, knight to c6 was played, and Alexey Shirov resigned the game. One more time. We don't have to go through the whole game. Just we're looking at from this position. After queen f3, Judit stepped on the gas. She played g5. F takes g5 was wrong. She played knight e5. She then played b4, the inaccuracy, and from here it was h5, it was knight f5, it was queen takes g5, and it was knight e3, and Shirov could do nothing. He could do nothing as she traded. She went up the exchange, and even though everything was hanging for a moment, she came back, went up material, and converted this game nicely, forcing Alexey Shirov to resign. The queen of chess, ladies and gentlemen. The queen of chess.